Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I will be reading a Kinich listener by me. So let's get into it. It was summer and the weather was quite warm, and today seemed like a perfect day to get ready for an outing. You only had a few things to do around the house. For the most part, Kenich insisted that you don't do anything at all. But you couldn't just listen to him like that. You had a few duties, and you wanted to do some things. You couldn't just stay like that and expect him to do everything for you. You were pregnant, not paralyzed. But little did you know that today would be a different day. As you walked down the steps, carefully balancing a bowl in your hands, your foot caught the edge of one, and before you could react, you were falling. Panic surged through you as the ground came up fast. You barely had time to brace yourself before your body hit the ground, and pain shot through you, radiating from your hip and ribs. The ball clattered to the ground, shattering, and you heard your own sharp gasp. You called out his name, crying, your voice laced with pain and fear, and in a heartbeat, he was right there beside you, his strong arms lifting you gently from the floor. His eyes were wide with panic as he held you, his face pale beneath his usual calm expression. "What happened? Are you hurt?" His voice was strained, and the fear in his tone was unmistakable. You winced as you tried to speak, your hands instinctively moving to your stomach. I tripped. Kinich, the baby," he said, your voice shaking as the pain pulsed through you. And his gaze immediately dropped your stomach, and you could see the fear flash across his face before he quickly tried to mask it up for your sake. And with a determined voice, he said, "We're going to get you to a healer." He lifted you in his arms with care, as if you were the most delicate thing in the world, and you leaned into him, the fear gnawing at your insides. "I'm scared," he whispered, your voice barely audible as tears welled up in your eyes. And his grip tightened slightly as he cradled you against his chest, his jaw clenched. "I'm not going to let anything happen to you or our child. Stay with me, all right?" You nodded, trying to keep your breathing steady, focusing on the warmth of his body as he carried you quickly toward the village healer. Every step he took was sure, though you could feel the tension radiating from him. He didn't speak, but his fingers brushed gently against your arm, grounding you. The healer's place was quite close, and the moment Kenich stepped through the door, he called out urgently, and the healer, an older woman with sharp eyes and gentle hands, rushed forward. She gestured to Kenich, making him lay you on the bed, her hands already assessing the situation with a calm efficiency that you found reassuring. "I'll take it from here," she said, her tone soothing as she knelt beside you, her hands hovering over your stomach, using her elemental energy to check for any internal damage. You could feel the warmth of her healing energy working through you, easing some of the pain. And Kinich did not move far. He stood by your side, his hand gripping yours tightly. His eyes were locked on you, worry etched into every line of his face. And the healer's face remained neutral as she worked. But after what felt like an eternity, she gave a small nod. "You're lucky. The baby's fine. There's no serious damage. but you'll need to rest and avoid any more falls like that. Relief washed over you both so quickly that it left you lightheaded, and you squeezed his hand, letting out a breath you had not realized you'd been holding. Thank God. Kinich let out a breath as well, his body visibly relaxing for the first time since he'd found you, and he leaned down, pressing a soft kiss to your forehead. I told you, I'm not letting anything happen to you, he murmured, his voice thick with emotion. Tears pricked at your eyes again, but this time, they were from relief. I'm sorry. I should have been more careful, you whispered, feeling guilt creeping in. Kenich shook his head, his fingers gently wiping away the tears that escaped down your cheek. Don't apologize. It wasn't your fault. The healer gave you a few more instructions, but you barely heard them, as Kenich helped you sit up slowly, his arms never leaving you. He kept you close, his body a constant source of strength. I'll make sure you're all right. You're not lifting a single finger until the baby's born, he said, as you both left the healer, and he laughed softly, despite the situation. I'm not helpless, Kenich. It was just one time. He gave you a small teasing smile. You're not helpless, but I'm still going to take care of you. You're carrying our child. Let me do my part, please, he said pleadingly. And he looked at you, and you could feel the sincerity in his voice, and just how much he wanted to help you. He never wanted you to be doing so much alone, even though to you it was a lot less than usual. He just did not want to risk anything like this happening again. And with how he looked at you, you couldn't get yourself to just refuse. He leaned into him, grateful for his love and protection. Thank you, he whispered, for always being here. Always, he replied, his arm tightening around you as you walked together, back to the warmth of your home.